everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Green School's live virtual tour. I'm Cece, Development Coordinator in Green School, and today I'm going to take you for a walk around. But as promised, I will not be alone. I will have Pa Francis here joining me for today's tour. Pa Francis, how are you today?
Fine, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me on the tour.
Great, so glad you can join us today. So why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers and maybe explain what is it that you do here in Green School?
Hi, I'm Francis. This is my 7th year at Green School. I came here on a sabbatical and fell in love and never left. People often ask me, what do I teach? And I say, what do you want to learn? I teach languages, I teach literacy, I teach English for kids who don't have English as a first language.
Wow, okay.
I'm the co-founder of the Student Ocean Ambassador Program, which is a very proud achievement.
And it's also something that you're gonna
I'll
talk about later.
Yeah. As we
right?
go along, I'll show you a few of our secrets and tricks.
So I'm excited to have you here today in our walk around.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna start walking around as usual. You know, in Green School we always have our cardio every single day, right?
Absolutely. Just the campus itself is a workout.
Exactly, I agree with you. So for those of you who don't know already, Green School is a pre-K to 12 school that opened back in 2008 with only 90 students. But over this past year, we have a little over 500 students coming from 41 different nationalities in the world. And what's unique about Green School is its focus on education for sustainability and also creating equal opportunity for Balinese students to receive international standard education. And right now we are actually at the community center in Green School. This is the place where the community would gather on a daily basis. When the pandemic is not here. In Green School, we encourage parents to be a part of the students' learning journey. And this is usually the place where the parents would gather on a daily basis, completing their work and everything, because we do have a working space as well. And this place is also the place where we do farmers market. Right? Yep. And Farmers Market is Green School way to support local businesses here on the island. And I know that every Farmers Market, I would see you with a bunch of students playing your little ukulele on that little spot right there, right?
Sure,
it's always interesting. And do you want to tell me about that?
So SOAP, we like to call it SOAP for short, has had a stand at the farm stand since the farm stand was born, and it's largely hosted by myself and some of the other teachers from the Ocean Ambassador Program.
Yeah.
And usually our local scholar kids are the ones that help us. We do a lot of fundraising.
Right.
We do a lot of, that's why we sing and shout and try and draw attention. It's a market after all, and if you don't make noise, no one pays any attention.
Yeah.
So very often it is the local scholarship program kids.
Right.
And a few others. We make all sorts of things. I'm going to show you some of them in a minute when we get up to the headquarters of SOAP.
Exciting. Okay.
But it's a great opportunity for the kids to fundraise for themselves ultimately. There are a lot of school trips that are not cheap to go on, but they have a big social impact. And of course we want our local kids very much present at the center of those things. So as a way of trying to help them also take responsibility and realize that, nothing comes for free, and those who, God helps those who help themselves.
Right.
So when they join us on the table there, it's a nice opportunity for the people who want to donate to see the faces of the kids, who you can say, help, I'm singing songs, and they're singing songs, and there's a thing that says, help us get to Rote, for example, to do manta ray conservation, or we want to go to the Simeulue Islands to learn about coconut oil instead of palm oil. That's another great example. Those things cost a little extra, and for our local scholars, this is a great opportunity for them to be involved in their own fundraising, and for people to see the faces rather than donating to a faceless corporation. You see our star kids in action.
Yeah, and if you are curious of what local scholarship program is, I'm going to explain that a little bit later. But for now, I just would like to acknowledge this little pathway that we are on right now. And as you know, Pa Francis, that we do have a lot of this, rocky rocky pathway. We have uneven steps here in Green School, right?
Sure.
And
I broke my toe there in
oh,
my
there
first
you go.
year.
I was just going to ask.
Running in out of the
have you ever
rain.
had injury, but there you go. You broke your toe here. So, in terms of this, all of this, our surrounding here in Green School, how do you think that contributes to the students' learning journey? Like, what is it that we're trying to teach the students with our rocky pathway and uneven steps?
I guess the most obvious thing is to be aware of your surroundings.
Right.
If you're aware of where you are, you probably notice what's right with it, what's wrong with it, what's beautiful about it, and you're more careful. In a funny way, for a place with so many uneven stairs and bumpy things, we have very, very few accidents, except for obviously grown-ups like me running in and hitting a wet patch and sliding.
Oh.
It teaches us to look where you're stepping, and I think symbolically it's lovely because we live in this beautiful environment, and it's really good to be aware of it. But even beautiful places have dangers, and it's good for you to be cognizant of where you are, and the marks you're leaving. We often leave our shoes behind when we come into these buildings because they come in with dirt, and we don't want that.
Yes.
So yeah, I like the way it symbolizes what we're trying to teach in a very practical, real way.
I
Look
agree.
where you're stepping. Make sure you don't leave mud everywhere.
Right, and don't break your toes.
And
be careful when it's raining because it's slippery.
Yeah.
So right now we're actually going up to the second floor of this bamboo building right here.
The heart of school.
Yes, the heart of school, and we're gonna check out your little playground up there on the third floor.
First, can we go past one of my favorite places?
Of course,
in the heart of school, there's a few people who really make the world go round, and I suggest you get to know them if you ever come here, because you're not going to get anything done without them.
Right.
That's our school secretary and her team, and our IT guys and their team, because really, this is wonderful, this bamboo, but nothing gets done inside the bamboo without them.
Yeah.
So if they're here, if you're lucky, you'll find them here. They're amazing.
Oh, there they are.
Hey, Pat Favorit. Smile, you're on camera. That's Pat Chaya.
Pat Chaya and Ibu Swan.
Ibu Swan. These guys make the world go round.
Right.
Really. If it wasn't for these guys and the cleaning ladies and the kitchen staff.
Of course, yes. So, Pat Francis, as you know, that right now we're dealing with an epidemic.
Yes.
That basically shuts down a lot of aspects in the world, including the education aspects. So at times like this, what do you think the students need the most?
I think what we all need the most is a human connection. And it's so hard to do online and via distance. There's so many things missing when you don't see someone's face. And you don't see the way the body moves, the way everything is coming together. When they're a little box on a screen, it's very, very hard to make that connection. But we've got to be grateful even and try and discover ways to make those connections, because I think content is widely available all over the place, and actually learning how to navigate that content and find what's real is what's tricky, and that you get from people that you trust. And it's very hard to get to know someone and actually trust someone when all you've ever seen is their face in a little box that big on your screen. So, Can I show you something over here?
Of course.
I don't know if you can see this, but last year some kids from the SOAP program, together with the Dolphin Project and the government, managed to release 2 dolphins from captivity and put them into a pen. And then we had the very great pleasure of having Ibu Peggy Oki, who's an activist and a skater and a great friend of cetaceans. And she helped us make these wonderful origami dolphins that you see and whales hanging around. And they were presented as a gift to the head of the forestry department, who helped us authorize the movement of 2 dolphins that were stuck in a swimming pool in a hotel, and now they're in a beautiful pen that the students from SOAP helped to build in North Bali
Wow.
in an area near Menjangan
Yeah.
in a nature reserve, and there's a school center there being set up. So basically these dolphins now are actually in the ocean. They can feel the tides. They're being taught how to fish again.
Right.
And the idea is eventually, if possible, we're going to set them free.
Right.
And hopefully they can go back to where they should be. And in the meantime, at least they're not going blind in a swimming pool full of chlorine.
That's true.
Which
Wow,
is,
that's really beautiful. And the kids actually are involved in
oh yeah,
this process.
this was a chap called Finn Murphy, and his mum are very, very active, and he was one of our advanced surfers, and we always have a service component in our programs. I'll explain it in a bit when we see the poster, but our surfers don't just go surfing.
Yeah.
They wanted to do something to help, locally. And so what they decided was they would team up with the Dolphin Project, because they had heard about these 2 dolphins that were in a swimming pool for tourists to pet, and they were slowly going blind and losing their teeth
no.
because they're not supposed to be in a swimming pool this deep with chlorine water, So they worked together with the government, together with the foundation, together with the rest of the surfers on the team. They went to North Bali, they built the pens themselves. And then they negotiated with the Ministry of Forestry, actually, curiously enough, because they're the ones that can authorize transport of live animals across the island.
Yeah.
So it was one of those real feel-good stories,
Touches
But
your heart,
yeah,
right?
totally. The kids actually, people always say, "Oh, surfers, long hair and I don't care and I
Right,
skip
like,
school," and it's
yeah.
not true. It's just
Right.
not true.
You're actually doing something.
Yeah, and for them to feel like they could do something like that really the whole school's so proud of and came behind, joined in behind, and hopefully we'll do a bit more.
That's really beautiful. All right, so now we're actually
Now we're
heading
going up to my lair.
to your lair, to your bat cave, no?
Yeah, it's not really a cave. The school,
It's a bamboo cave.
my last school before here, I had a small room with 2 frosted windows that looked out onto an atrium. So
Right.
compared to that, this is more like the cathedral.
Cathedral. I like that word.
Yeah. It's called La Veranda, the language lounge. Let me show you that. It's going to be upside down for you now, but it doesn't matter. The language lounge. This is where my Indonesian colleagues and I have all our kids who come and practice languages, but it's also, I'll let you just get there's a welcome to La Veranda.
La Veranda.
Yokoso Veranda. I've learnt a tiny bit of Japanese since I've been teaching different languages.
So what sorts
up
of
here.
language do you teach here?
Well, me personally, I teach French and Spanish and Portuguese, but the language lab allows kids to study whatever language they want. I help them find a mentor, I help them organize their studies, I help them find resources, and they do self-study. It's a guided self-study. I have a very simple system that asks them to identify topics that they want to study, and vocabulary words that they're going to work through during the week, and then they normally make a video or something like that. If I can find someone that also is learning the language, so once a week they will be together and show what they've learned, and then at the end of the block we normally have a cinema party where everyone makes a little film and shows something in their own language.
Oh, that's really exciting.
So yeah, compared to the little room I had, this is a wonderful
cathedral.
It also doubles up as the soap storage room stroke headquarters.
So I understand you want to show us something today.
Please. So just another example of some of the things that we have here. These are old broken surfboards that we picked up that the surf schools would normally throw away into the trash. And as you can see, the kids have shaped them into mini surfboards.
Right.
And that one there, that half one, is actually a balance board. And they put a roll of bamboo underneath and practice balancing. Last year we extended the program into the primary school, so the 5th graders went to the local swimming pools with these boards to get familiar with surfing and the boards and the problems, and the way it works. And then at the end they managed to go to the beach. That's an old poster that we used to use in the farmers market. You can see it's a little bit worse for wear.
While you're playing your ukulele.
Whilst I'm playing my ukulele.
Lungs out loud.
There you go. And this is my that's how much money we need for things. It's now the time to ask. It's always the right time to ask.
Of course.
That's the sort of basic tenets of our program.
Right.
It's the Student Ocean Ambassador program. hook 'em, train 'em, brain 'em, launch 'em. The idea is that they fall in love with the ocean. If they fall in love with the ocean in whatever way, shape or form, they will want to protect it.
Right.
So whenever they do the Jalan Jalan activities, which is once a week, they go out for 4 hours. It could be stand-up paddling, it could be scuba diving, it could be doing whatever it is. There's always a launch 'em component, which is on the way there or when they are there or at the same time as being there, they will do something that will help them learn and give back something to the community. Then in classes, we try and complement some of those activities, like the 6th graders do an ocean conservation thing, 9th grade do a water thematic about how to save water and how to clean water and provide it to people. We also have a training program where everybody who's in it has to do basic first aid and surf rescue lifeguarding. This is an island surrounded by wonderful warm water, safe, and a lot of the people who live here spend a lot of time on the beach or in swimming pools. So for me, it's obvious that, pretty much everyone in this school ought to know how to pull their little brother out of a pool and save them if they need to. I'm just so pleased that our ILSP kids are such a big part of this program. Some of them, this chap here, Tagu, for example, in this poster, he made these bracelets for
I noticed that. I think I also
water awareness. This guy didn't know how to swim.
Right.
2 years ago, we taught. He made and sold bracelets to raise awareness for pollution, water pollution, and those kind of things. He made nearly $400.
Wow. Okay.
And he gave it to me and said, "I want you to give more kids the opportunity that I had." And it was just, and so I've taught him how to swim, and now I'm teaching him how to surf every Sunday.
Oh, nice.
He meets me at the beach, and he's learning, and so it's really it's great to have a program that not only gives kids but gives them an opportunity to give themselves to the community. Those are our lifeguards. Oh, this is probably something I should show you. I'll explain later. This is the zinc.
The zinc?
Yeah, this is one of the things that we sell in the farmer's market. It's homemade zinc. I'll show you the lab in a minute. But this is our best-selling product.
What do you do with it, Bob?
You put it on your face so that when you go in the sun, you don't get burnt. 100% natural.
Oh, that's what
no
the
added
surfers
ingredients.
always have on their faces.
Exactly that.
Right.
That's our farmer's market stand.
Right, and Paul Francis will show...
I'll show you down in the iHub, should we?
And, of course, we're heading there right now. So what I love about the story with Tagu is, and probably, other kids as well, is the fact that even after the project is finished, you still have some sort of like connection with them, and you still do different things with them as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing is to study something in class for 6 weeks and learn about it. And another thing is to start a project.
Yeah.
And if you start a project, I always feel that at least there's some responsibility to keep it going, because we're a school and we're giving kids learning opportunities in enterprise, in social networking, in taking a project and launching one. But I think we also have a responsibility to teach them the grim determination it takes to keep something going for years and years. You don't save 2 dolphins and then say, okay, we're done.
That's it.
There are many more dolphins in captivity in small swimming pools, under the guise of conservationism, that are basically just being used to lure tourists in. And I think even a lot of the time tourists don't know where they're being taken. And so to do the follow-up of that is going to take, I hope, a few more years. And it gives us something to do, and it involves students in a way that allows them to give something back. And I think they learn probably the best lesson is you gain so much more by giving than by receiving.
Yes.
And so for me, a 6-week project is a great beginning.
Yeah.
But I'm very, very concerned with, especially the good projects.
Yes.
Like a lot of the soap projects, the idea is just to keep them going.
Yeah.
Even if you only revisit them once a year, like with the Woe Festival or the Final Straw Project, which is a project where we had bamboo straws being given out to the Warungs to stop them using plastic straws. Just keep going back. Make sure it keeps coming back into our classes, our Jalan Jalan activities, our day-to-day life, so that these things don't just fizzle out when the learnings happen and we've checked all the boxes and said, yeah, you've learnt this 6-week project, okay, bye. Yeah, no, what's important is the work that needs to continue.
Right.
You can see there's a poster there that says real. We're all about real learning. And if we're going to be, relationship-centered, entrepreneurial, authentic and local, we've got to keep it going.
Yeah.
If it doesn't keep going, it's lip
lip
service.
Right?
It still has an impact and it's still good, but
it's a one-time thing.
It's good when you can follow up, which is why it's so nice when we managed to do this, the handover of the dolphin curtains. We actually gave one to the Minister of Forestry.
Right.
And we surprised him. We were like, oh, come and have a look. The greatest honour in our schools. You could have your name on a pole. Let us show you Ban Ki-moon's name. And then we pointed out his name.
Right.
And you should have seen his face. He was like, oh, wow. And he was all sort of trembling and just saying, it's so nice to see that, we're not alone. And that things are carrying on.
Yes.
The dolphins were released in May. But we did this ceremony just in the end of August.
Right.
And we've promised to work with him some more and hopefully create some more waves. Waves, the tide of positivity.
Exactly.
Just keep it moving.
So, speaking of the names on this bamboo pole, and you also mentioned something about the local scholarship students earlier. I just would like to talk a little bit about that. So, Green School has a local to global initiative, as we all know, and one of them is the local scholarship program, which is something that I'm very passionate about. It's what my department is responsible for and everything. We help fundraise and everything. And these are the names in the bamboos that you see right now, that you're seeing right now, are actually the names of our biggest supporters. These are our donors, who are people, regular people just like you and I, coming to Green School Bali to see what the school is all about. And then they heard about
Richard Branson. I'm not very much like him, but I'd like to be.
I mean, we can always dream, right?
Yeah. Well, no, he's a regular person, I'm sure. I didn't actually meet him, but
his name is somewhere over
here.
here.
Yeah, definitely.
His name is somewhere here. So
David Copperfield.
Yeah, David Copperfield, and we have Tyra Banks also somewhere here. So these are the people who are very supportive of this local scholarship program. As we all know, that education is important, and it is one of Green School's missions to provide equal opportunity for local Balinese students to get international standard education, and hope that in the future, because they are the ones that are going to stay on the island while everyone else leaves, right?
That's the big thing. I mean, SOAP likes to definitely take care of as many of our LSP kids as possible because of that.
Yeah.
The ones that stay are the ones that will affect a lasting change here.
Yes.
And if we want to be local to global, if we learn here how to make things different and make things better, I think we have a responsibility to leave a lot of that knowledge right here with active people right here, and our LSP kids are the best for that.
Right.
I mean, we've been to places with them, and the more places they go and the more opportunities they have, the more they come back, like Tagu, saying, I want to do something for here, and hopefully for themselves as well. Yeah.
All right. So if you would like to know more about the local scholarship program, you can email us at development@greenschool.org. So we're gonna continue our walk again.
They need it.
Yes, indeed.
And they're worth it.
They're so worth it.
They're so worth
And I know that, I think it was a year ago that you had an opportunity to actually flew to Hawaii with one of the local scholarship program students.
Get goosebumps just thinking about it. Yeah.
Exactly. What was that all about?
So, two of our star LSP kids, G'day and Hazel, they've been with us since they were teeny tiny. They learned to be lifeguards, they learned to surf, then they learned to dive, and they've been with us all the time. They sell, G'day makes peanuts that he sells in the farmer's stand, They're really deserving kids, and we were lucky enough that Parley for the Oceans contacted us and invited us to this convention called Ocean Uprise. Yeah. It was like a convention of superstar activists and really normal kids from around the world. And I say like that as though they're two separate things, and they're not, because actually G'day and Hazel are superstar activists in their own way, and fully deserving. But Parley basically invited us to join this like 5-day conference, camping in these beautiful campgrounds on the North Shores of Oahu. We met Kimmy Werner, we met Nainoa Thompson, we met Jack Johnson, some really big names in activism and basically people who care about the ocean. So it was a real great validation for these kids to see that we don't just make t-shirts to sell in the farmers market to make money for, you know, little things, but also that they are being invited to be part of something huge and international, which is a youth movement to save, you know, save the earth. Let's be honest, 75% of the planet is covered with water. Most of us live right next to the water. 75% of the oxygen we breathe comes from the coral. Most of the food we eat comes from, you know, the first 50 meters, either inside the water or above the water. So, you know, for me it's so obvious that there needs to be more SOAPs, more student ocean ambassador programs all over the place. I still don't understand why 75% of our classes aren't about this. But we're working on it, and we're slowly but surely sticking more and more classes in the curriculum, because it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And if you get, especially local kids, I mean, they live on an island. There's so many kids who've maybe not even been to the beach. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
One of the crowning achievements of last year was Surfers for Diversity, which is a group set up by a great colleague of mine, Stephanie, and some other people. The kids said they watched a video and they saw how surfing can affect autistic kids and kids with learning difficulties in a really positive way. And they said, can we do that? And we went, I'm not sure. But yeah, let's try it. In fact, I'm telling you what you could see anyway. Check out the film. I'm sure she'll put some notes in the film. There's a great mini film all about that. Basically, the kids did their lifeguarding training so that they knew what they were doing. They had already proved that they were competent surfers for a while. They went and hung out with these special needs kids in their school, and then after a good few months of building a relationship of trust, they took them into the swimming pool, and eventually they took them surfing. And a lot of the girls who were sort of teenage girls who, you know, have the typical teenage girl attitude sometimes in class, their teachers came to us saying it's amazing how they've changed. Because they were given the opportunity to take care of and look after someone else less fortunate than them. It just opened up something inside them. And it was just, I mean, another one of those moments where you couldn't ask for a better job, really. And the kids themselves, they just said, you know, this is the best thing I've ever done with my life. And it's a thing that they didn't receive, it's a thing they gave. So that's why I think it's important.
Wow, it's been really exciting listening to you sharing all these stories. I don't have any questions right now because you've been explaining everything really, really good. So one of the questions that are popular whenever I do this kind of tours is the question
There's a kid with a SOAP t-shirt on over there.
Yes.
He's got the WOA Festival t-shirt. That was a festival we did with the local with the local community in Sese. Just to try and raise a bit more awareness and, you know, give some publicity to all the projects that these kids have been doing. Tagu's water thing.
Wow, all amazing things.
Sorry, you were saying something else. I got distracted. I love it when I see another SOAP t-shirt on campus.
Like, there's one.
Yes.
All right. So
slowly but surely we're taking over.
So one of the questions that we get a lot is whether or not Green School has a curriculum. And my answer is always yes.
Of course it has a curriculum.
We do have a curriculum.
Of course it has a curriculum.
It's just a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
So at least the last 4 years, every SOAP activity has learning objectives, Green School skills, community values built into it. We were very, very careful about that because we didn't want people to go, oh, you're just a bunch of surfers, you want to go surfing more often. No. In fact, I often tell our kids, if you want to just go surfing, be my guest at the weekend. You know, there's a billion beautiful beaches on Bali. Go for it. If you want to learn how to be an ocean ambassador, then you come to Green School. There's a curriculum, there's an outline, there's a progression from learning how to be safe in the water, learning to find your passion, whether it's free diving, whether it's paddle boarding, we can make it happen for you. But when you go, you need to do something. You need to give something back. Because that's what being an ocean ambassador is.
Yeah.
Your love of the ocean should guide you to find a part of it that you want to protect and you want to share that with other people.
Right.
If that's not what you want, fine. But we've got 4 years of curriculum well documented with videos, films. I'm sure you can see some of those in the links. But there's definitely curriculum behind it. And there is the academic, social, emotional, but also local to global connections.
Yes.
The benefits are, there's no doubt about it. We have evidence.
Yes.
Not only that we have a curriculum, but that it's really effective for local kids, international kids.
Right.
So
you heard it from
if you got
Green
5
School
hours,
educator.
I can
We
show
do
you
have
all
curriculum.
of our documents. Yeah.
So our curriculum is, as I said, is a little bit different, and of course you agree with me. So basically, we have 3 pillars of education, which is proficiency. So yes, we do teach core subjects,
Sure.
and then we do have experiential as well, and then we do have thematics. And this place right here that we're standing in front of right now
Another
is
one of my favorite spots.
exactly, and this is probably the place where a lot of students would work on their thematics projects, including you also maybe. This is the Innovation Hub, or as we all know as iHub. And I know that you have several projects here happening, and you're going to show us today some of them.
Right. So over here we have we're in the middle of making zinc. That zinc that you saw earlier, the little tubs, eventually will get put into one of these things, which we laser cut the logo into. Some kids this is an alternative design. They found some bottle tops to make the stoppers for the bottom of them out of. We make our own zinc. It has nothing but zinc oxide powder, beeswax, sometimes a bit of food coloring. When it was Diversity Day, we made a nice pink zinc for everyone to wear for their faces, and we called it Pink Zinc, and we screamed our lungs out. And as we warm it up in here, and then you pour it out into these are old glue sticks that we find lying around campus. I don't know why we find them lying around campus. I need to have a word with some of my other students, but
Whoops.
No, they finish and they kind of get thrown into a bin, and I rescue them. And this was another kid's idea, and they made their own logos for them, and then you fill them up. You fill them up with zinc, and then when you go to the beach, you pop that on your face, and off you go.
There you go.
There you go.
There we go.
I prefer the pink one myself.
Right,
but,
of course. It's
more colourful.
More
colourful. I wanted to do like a multicoloured one, but that proved really difficult. They ended up really funny colour. You can see some of the colours we were playing with there. There's sort of a bluish colour, and there's one that went dark purple. And sometimes we add a little bit of essential oils just because it smells so nice.
Aww.
Lavender and bergamot are my favourite. Another project. So this was one of the spin-off classes for soap.
Spin-off.
Was a sort of, we called it trash to cash. So everything we get, obviously the zinc is bought, but the rest of the stuff is, that's bamboo that no one's going to use. Those are old glue sticks that no one's going to use. This is a project we still haven't mastered, but we like mistakes and not mastering things because it keeps us busy. This is a flip-flop. I don't know if you're Australian, you call them thongs.
Yep.
It's one of these, made of lots of these. One of the things that we find most on the beach is this in Indonesia.
Yeah.
So we grab them, we mulch them up into these little pieces, and we mix them with this eco resin that we've got from a wonderful guy called Sean Steed. And it can be made rock hard like this, and you can make paperweights and beautiful decorations. Or you put a couple of drops into flip-flops that you've crunched up in a machine that we have over there, and then we're making molds out of it. And we just want to try it. This one is a little bit weak, as you can see. It's not. I didn't put enough resin in, so it's.
Yes.
But that part seems almost strong enough.
Right.
And this is a way of learning and doing something with the trash that every time we go surfing, we pick up bags full of trash.
Right.
And it feels like mopping the floor in the front of your house when you've left the tap open in the bathroom upstairs.
Yes.
It's not.
It's endless.
It's just, you're going to keep doing it forever.
True.
But if you can start thinking of things to do with this end of the problem, not only does it raise awareness, but it also gives a great learning opportunity and a really good design thinking process. That didn't work, try again.
Yes.
That one didn't work, try again. It's trash anyway.
Yeah.
where's it going to end up?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Totally.
this is quite a fun project, but still in the making. The other one is to shape surfboard fins out of this with a little bit of bottle tops. These kind of tops, we can melt them down, but I don't think I've got one in this bag. No.
Nope.
Melt them down and make the inside, of the bottle tops. Make the inside of the fin. I don't know if you know anything about surfboard fins, but if you do, they've got a hard plastic, a softer plastic interior,
Yes.
and then a hard plastic exterior. So if we can have, that's like 98% vegetable. So that's really, compared to most resins, that's super eco-friendly.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and it's just fun to play with materials and you know, push boundaries and test assumptions. You know, people always seem to think, oh, you can't do anything with that, it's just trash. One man's trash and another man's treasure.
Exactly. I agree with
So one
that.
woman, there you go.
So it's safe to say that you're passionate about the ocean and surfing.
Yeah, and education.
And education,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay,
And
Pat,
green
so we're almost at the end of our tour.
Sure.
But before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to say to our viewers? Pressure.
No pressure. Never forget who you are and where you are. Always remember who you are and where you are. That's
that's
it.
beautiful.
That's it.
Simple,
If you, yeah.
meaningful.
Yeah. If you
Beautiful.
don't, you might break your toe.
Yes, also if you go to green school, be careful.
If you do, you might meet some wonderful people around you.
Yes, I agree. All right, Pat, so thank you so much for joining me
Terima kasih
today. I
banyak.
had so much fun, and I'm really interested to discuss further about
Yeah.
that language learning.
Yeah.
And if you would like to connect with Pat Francis, you can drop him an email at
soap@greenschool.org.
Great.
How simple could that be? Student Ocean Ambassador, soap@greenschool.org. If you want to
Very.
know more about our program, if you'd like to support some of our kids to do some of the things, if you've got some cool ideas you want to share with me about how to make that flip-flop work, then
Email him.
email me.
Email him.
soap@greenschool.org.
Learn how to surf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Parent volunteers to come and help out sometimes.
Oh,
really
cool.
useful too. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us today. We've had so much fun exploring the
Thank
school and also talking about your projects and the students and also the local scholarship program. If you would like to know more information about our tour, please email us at tours@greenschool.org. So basically that's it for me today. I hope you guys stay happy and healthy everywhere you are. Hope to see you on the island once the epidemic is over, and perhaps you can meet Pat Francis in person as well.
See you here.
All right, so that's it from us today. See you guys. Bye. Are you late? Yeah, perfect.
I think I'm a tiny bit late, but it'll be fine.
All right. Thank you, Pa.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much.